Good morning. I am Anatoly Anatolisova, and this is Patriots Must Rise. There's been a lot of talk about coming lockdowns because of another fake variant of a obviously fake virus, um, man-made by Anthony Fauci. And I just posted a video, a short on YouTube about why it's probably not a good idea for the left, who a lot more people are angry at, to give already angry Americans, parents, anarchists, the time to actually plan and rebel against the establishment. For the first time in my life, I'm actually looking at possibly working at a restaurant during a time where these restaurants could very well be locked down. Because of physical limitations. What that means is an interview that I have on Monday could very well be just a moot point, because by October they would be forced to lay people off. Okay? So what does that actually mean? Well, very simple. Americans are supposed to be the nation of rebels. COVID-19 showed that we're apparently a bunch of neutered pacifists that have been brainwashed to believe whatever the left says. And we haven't actually gotten to a bad enough point in our society to overthrow the castle. But there's a trend happening even on TikTok, where even libtard, woketard, piece of garbage liberals are speaking out and saying, "Hey government, we don't believe in your fucking COVID." Well, nobody did. They saw it as an opportunity to steal an election, which is what they see it as now, because they know that they're not going to be able to win if they don't cheat. We have a lot stronger platforms. We have a lot more educated people in our side of the population versus the public school indoctrinated garbage that is being put out by the left. So one thing that I put out in a video that I just posted on YouTube, and the link is in the description, is that one of the dumbest things that they could do at this point in history is, well, actually several, but give the people time. Because at this point, the reason that we haven't fought back is because we're just concerned about keeping food on the table and a roof over our families' heads. But if you take that away, from the people that actually work for a living in America, not the liberals. The liberals are garbage that suck off a taxpayer. I'm talking about the actual working class of America that feed this country. If you take food off of their table and they have nothing to lose, well, that video says everything that you need to know. Because the circles that I travel in are already planning it and have been planning it basically ever since Obama was elected. 2020 proved our theory that we have an absolute uniparty. There are no checks and balances in America anymore, and we're expected to just bend over and take it up the ass. Well, we're not going to take it up the ass. The unions have a saying, particularly with the longshoremen and the Teamsters. We have the control because if the trucks don't move, you don't eat. Well, the bulk of the food that goes into these woke cities comes from conservative America. Comes from the people that they're trying to oppress. Starve them out. Please, lock us down. Because we already won the war. Okay? It doesn't matter how many nukes you happen to have. It doesn't matter how well armed your soldiers are, because your soldiers, for the most part, belong to us. They're not going to follow in order to unlawfully shoot an American. They will shoot you first. But there are those that will betray their oath, and they will become friendly fire, and we'll just take care of them by proxy. There won't be such a thing as a turncoat, because the people that actually work for a living in America don't believe in the progressive model. But another thing that we need to consider is, with this last June, we had the progressives forcing down our throat Juneteenth, which if you had a brain and you happen to be an African American, you had to know that was just a way for Joe Biden to placate the group that he had alienated by saying, if you're black and you don't vote for me, you can't call yourself black. Or I think he actually said, if you don't vote for me, you're not black. That's a sentiment that the left has always had. Basically, they started the welfare system specifically to keep the African American in the bondage of poverty and keep them from working. Break up the family and create dependency. And historically it's worked. But there's a trend within the African American community where basically the only people that are still voting for Democrats are the women. The guys that are actually working, the guys that are actually in the warehouses, and they see through it. They know that their wages are just lining the pockets of these corrupt pieces of shit. So even if they got back a good portion of what they lost, as far as the African American community by Joe Biden's statement, they will never get back the male population of that demographic, because they realized that the only way to make it under the Democrat model is to kiss the ass of a Democrat. And that's actually a quote from a former coworker of mine. So please, watch the short. This is I guess another short, because I basically just fleshed out what I said, and let it sink in. Share what's being said, because my family can't afford a lockdown. I'm sure your family can't either. If we made it very clear to these people that think they're in charge that they will not have a life if they lock down, I think we will probably avoid what's supposed to be happening in October. So make this go viral. As always, this is a crowd-funded platform, so if you want to see more, please like, subscribe, and there's a link in the description to donate. I also have a donate or a PayPal fundraiser link to fund the resistance in the Northwest. If you're in the Northwest and you actually don't like where this country is going, please contribute to that as well. I am Anatoly Anatoly. This is Patriots Must Rise. Until next time, live free, die well, and love your neighbor as Christ loved you. Unless your neighbor is a Democrat, then blow his car up with him in it.